Hello, independent voter, old and computer illiterate. I call this one America is Over. Now, do I want it to be over? Of course not. But in 4 years of that, in my opinion, the fraudulently installed puppet degenerate with dementia, President, and Vice President Ho, they really did a number on us in those 4 years. The open borders, giving over 2 million illegal immigrants social security numbers. Those numbers are given when people are born in America. Now, do I want America to be over? Of course not. And again, independent voter, old and computer illiterate. I'm probably going to say that a lot during this because, in a way, I'm glad I'm old. Let me explain. I grew up in an America where businesses were closed on Sunday. And television, I am so happy that I grew up at a time when there was only like a little over 10, maybe 11, 13, 14, maybe channels. And at midnight, a lot of stations would play the national anthem with the flag and then boop, no TV till the morning. That's the America that I came up in. And I thank goodness that I was out of school before this federal government created the Department of Education, which should have been called the Department of Brainwashing and Indoctrination. There are a few generations in America that raised kids to hate their country and not know who they are. The Department of Education is responsible for the youth being mentally ill and hating their country. And I'm not even going to touch on that woke stuff because all that is mental illness brought upon the public. I identify as my pronoun. You're a human being. Think about how stupid that is. I'm a pronoun. No, you're a human being. And I'm not married with children, but I'll say it. America has the worst parents. And any parent that thinks it's okay for a drag queen to read to their kids, there's something wrong with their brain. And the worst kind of parent, in my opinion, is those that have their child surgically altered. They are just selfish bastards. And the hatred, I've never seen such hatred for a man the way I have seen towards President Trump. As an independent voter, old and computer illiterate, in my opinion, a lot of my fellow Americans are just jealous of successful people. I'm at work. Guys are bad mouthing President Trump. And I said, hey, whether you like the guy or not, the guy's a success. He took $1 million from his father and turned it into billions. That takes brains and fucking balls. And of course, there's always that one jerk off. He gave him 10 million. I looked at this jerk off. I said, okay, 10 million. He turned it into billions, man. That takes brains and fucking balls. And it's so sad. I've come to the conclusion, in my opinion, a lot of Americans are unindividuals. They have no individuality in them. They follow the herd, and whatever this news media says, I am celebrating 30 years. In 1995, I got to the point where I'm sick of these teleprompter Muppet enemy propagandists. And then after an extremely short period of experience in television, the only thing I learned is that corporations suck, and if you don't get the ratings, you're history. That's the way it works. And in my opinion, the worst thing that ever happened in America on television is the 24-hour news cycle. Constant news, man. Constant them feeding your brain with bullshit and bias. They have an agenda. There was a short period of time when the news media in America was considered the fourth estate. And for decades now, they politically have been the fifth column. I don't want to see America over. And this Islamic fascism must be crushed in America right now. I know a lot of great Muslims, and my name would freak you out because I'm the American Italian guy with a Muslim name. And what's in a name anyway? It's what you stand for that makes you who you are. Names are just labels. And I know a lot of great Muslims that came here to get away from that Sharia law, that taqwa, whatever it is, shit. And I want, unfortunately, Muslims cannot have any positions in town, city, state, or federal governance. You can call me a racist, you can call me whatever you want. But Islam is a religion of dominance, not assimilation. In America, it's freedom of religion. You could worship any God you want or not. That's why we have atheists. You're allowed to worship whatever you want, and the government isn't going to fuck with you, and your fellow American isn't going to fuck with you. Everybody has churches. You can go to that church and pray. I don't care. But Islam is a religion that thinks it's going to dominate. And I'm in a state right now where it's going to get ugly in January because of who was elected. And I might get whacked in the mix. So I'm getting to the point, because I time all of these little things that I do on YouTube. Because that's another thing. Americans' attention span is like really short. because the screen you're listening to me on got us. They found the ultimate diversion, which is also being used as a brainwash tool. So I don't want America to be over. I don't want it to become an Islamic or communist or socialist or Marxist country. I don't want that. America was created so that the individual can fulfill their full potential. And the three greatest documents ever written for this are the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. It gives the individual the right to fulfill their full potential. We're headed in a bad direction. I don't want violence. I don't want civil war. And I've always taken comfort, now that I'm old, in two things. You never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. And I thank goodness that there are more guns than people in America. If every NRA member bought an AK and came out, it would get ugly. Hypothetical. Every NRA member buys an AK. And when anyone, whether they're violent protesters or Muslims disrupting, and actually there are people that say, "Death to America," or they wave another country's flag in America, they get sprayed with an AK. Do you really want a civil war? Think about it. Do you want dead bodies all over the street? Some of them probably deserve it, but there were a lot of innocent people killed. You see, this is why I'm against violence, because in war, innocent people die. It's not just the soldiers. And the fact that there is one homeless veteran is beyond appalling to me. Got to have organizations, $19 a month. We send these men and women all over the world to help our friends and to protect our country. Oh, man. So in conclusion, I don't want America to be over, but we better get it together. I'm just so tired of the hatred. If you hate something, you get away from it. You don't love America? Leave it. But hey, that would take guts. That would take balls. Oh, man. See, this is another problem. I'm trying to control my anger. And it's really hard not to be angry at the way this media is, this news media. You know, they're just a bunch of teleprompter enemy propagandists. That's all they are. It's 30 years since 1995. I got sick of those teleprompter Muppet enemy propagandists. I don't watch ABC News, NBC News, CBS News, Fox News, and the bottom of the barrel, CNN, MSNBC, and CNBC. Those people aren't reporters. They're not journalists. They're just dividers, just like Barack Hussein Obama. That guy was the worst thing that ever happened to this country. In my opinion, he is the most divisive human being in the history of humanity. And he's still going around talking shit. President Trump should call him to the White House and say, hey, man, you're not president anymore. You don't get to go around to other countries and talk your bullshit against me, against America. The Hatch Act should be invoked against that, in my opinion, empty suit, half a homie, punk ass bitch who never did a hard day's work in his life. The skids were greased for him because former President Bill DeGenerate tweaked affirmative action. You can't hire people according to their race. There's a test to take the job. Whoever gets the highest score gets the job, no matter what skin you're in. So in conclusion, I don't want violence. I don't want blood on the streets. I don't want innocent people dying. So thank you for listening. I want to thank my few subscribers because I don't put any money behind this thing. In my opinion, everybody should have a YouTube channel because we all want to vent every once in a while. That's the way I look at this. We all want to vent sometimes. So may we get our stuff together and love our country. Thank you for listening.